Welcome back to Motivation V. I'm Sarah.
And I'm Marcus. Great to be here with you again, Sarah.
You too, Marcus. So, I want to start with a feeling. It's Sunday night around 8 p.m. The weekend is winding down, and this heavy feeling starts to creep in. A knot in your stomach about Monday morning. Does that sound familiar?
Oh, the Sunday scaries. I know that feeling well. It's like you can already hear the Slack notifications. For so many people, especially the younger generation, it's not just about a tough week ahead. It's a sign of a deeper misalignment, a feeling that the traditional 9 to 5 path is just not working for them anymore.
I think it's even more than just the knot. It's a quiet sense of dread. The feeling that the life you're living Monday to Friday isn't really your own. You're executing someone else's vision, working on someone else's dream. And that feeling of being a passenger in your own life is exhausting.
It's not just a meme, it's a genuine cultural phenomenon that points to a systemic problem. The idea that we should sacrifice our mental peace for a paycheck is a holdover from a bygone era, and people are starting to question that bargain.
And it's a profound sense of wasted potential, isn't it? I had a client who called it being comfortably miserable. He had the nice salary, the respectable job title, the whole package, but he felt like he was slowly fading, his creativity and passion just draining away week by week. He was trapped by the golden handcuffs, too comfortable to leave, but too unfulfilled to stay. That's the real trap of the 9 to 5 for so many.
Exactly. And that's our topic today. Why Gen Z, and honestly a lot of us, are ditching the 9 to 5 grind. We're going to dig into the real stories, the psychology behind it, and what it means for the future of work.
And that comfortably miserable state is so insidious because it's hard to justify leaving. From the outside, you have everything, but on the inside, there's a slow burning crisis of meaning. It's not a dramatic blowout. It's a quiet fade into a life that doesn't feel like your own. This is a big one. So let's get right into it. What's the real problem here? People think it's about laziness or entitlement, but that's a huge misconception. It really is. The fundamental issue is that the social contract around work is broken. The old promise was you give a company your loyalty and 40 years of your life, and in return, they give you stability, a pension, a clear path up the ladder, you know?
That promise is gone, absolutely. Gen Z saw their parents get laid off after decades of loyalty. They enter the workforce during economic uncertainty. They know that a company is not a family and that job security is largely an illusion. They're not willing to sacrifice their mental health and personal passions for a promise that no longer exists.
That's so true. I had a client, a brilliant graphic designer in her mid-20s. Let's call her Chloe. She was working at a top agency, the kind of job she thought she always wanted. But she was miserable. She felt like a cog in a machine, her creativity stifled by endless meetings and corporate red tape. She told me, I spend 90% of my time managing politics and 10% actually designing. It was burning her out.
I hear that story all the time. The lack of autonomy is a killer. It's not about avoiding hard work. It's about wanting your work to mean something, to have a tangible impact you can see and feel. I worked with a young software engineer who quit his 6-figure job at a tech giant because he had zero connection to the end product. He was just a line of code on a project with 1,000 other people.
That disconnect is huge. They want to be creators, not just cogs. And you know, this isn't just happening in corporate offices. Look at Hollywood. Think about Issa Rae.
Great example. Go on.
Well, she had this brilliant idea for a show about the awkward experiences of a Black woman. She pitched it everywhere, but the traditional gatekeepers in Hollywood said no. They told her there was no audience for it. They didn't get it.
Right. So what did she do? She didn't just give up and get a different job.
Exactly. She took matters into her own hands. She created a web series called The Misadventures of Awkward Black Girl and put it on YouTube. She used her own money, got her friends to act in it. It was raw, authentic, and it exploded. People loved it because it was real.
And that's the Gen Z playbook right there. The old model was ask for permission, knock on doors, climb the ladder, hope someone gives you a shot. The new model is build your own table. The tools are available. You don't need a studio's permission to make a series or a label's permission to release a song. You can go directly to your audience.
Yes, that's the mindset shift. It's moving from what job can I get to what value can I create. It's about taking ownership. For my client, Chloe, the designer, the shift was realizing her identity wasn't designer at X company. Her identity was creative problem solver. That was a huge emotional unlock for her. She realized she could be that person anywhere, especially on her own terms.
That's the internal shift. The behavioral shift, the practical side, is about seeing your career not as a single ladder, but as a portfolio of skills, projects, and income streams. You might have a part-time job for stability, a freelance gig for passion, and a small online business you're experimenting with. It's about diversifying your professional identity.
I love that portfolio metaphor. It gives you resilience. If one part of your portfolio takes a hit, you haven't lost your entire identity or income. It's anti-fragile. By the way, if this is resonating with you, make sure to hit that subscribe button because we dive into topics like this every single week.
Absolutely. And speaking of the portfolio career, that brings up another great example, Donald Glover.
Oh, Childish Gambino, yes, the ultimate multi-hyphenate.
Exactly. Think about it. The old world would have forced him to choose. Are you a writer for a show like 30 Rock? Are you an actor on Community? Are you a Grammy-winning musician? Are you the creator and director of a groundbreaking show like Atlanta? The traditional path says you can only be one.
Right, pick a lane.
He completely rejected that. He showed that you can excel in multiple domains simultaneously. His skills from one field fed his creativity in another. And this is what so many young people are doing. They're not just a marketer, they're a marketer who also runs a podcast, creates TikTok videos about vintage watches, and writes a Substack newsletter. They are building a brand, not just a resume.
That's such a powerful point, the death of the specialist. It's no longer about being the best at one tiny thing for 40 years. It's about how you can uniquely combine your stack of skills and interests. Okay, so people listening might be feeling that knot in their stomach and thinking, this all sounds amazing, but what do I actually do? Let's make this practical.
Okay, step one, something you can do this week. I call it the 5-hour rule. It's simple. Dedicate 5 hours a week, just 1 hour each weekday, to learning something new or honing a skill that is completely unrelated to your main job, but that you're curious about.
I love that. It's manageable. So it could be learning to code, taking a pottery class, studying SEO.
Anything. The point isn't to become a world expert in a week. The point is to invest in your own skill portfolio. It builds confidence and opens up possibilities you can't even see yet. It shifts your mindset from being a passive employee to an active learner and builder.
Okay, I'll add step 2, which is more of an internal emotional exercise. I call it the curiosity audit. At the end of each day this week, write down one thing that genuinely sparked your curiosity. What article did you get lost in? What problem did you find yourself wanting to solve? What conversation lit you up?
That's a great point. It's about just-in-time learning versus just-in-case learning. The old model was you go to college, learn a bunch of stuff just in case you need it one day. The new model is learning what you need when you need it to solve a problem you're genuinely interested in. That's a much more powerful and efficient way to build skills. That's good. Why that?
Exactly. It's about documenting, not creating. When you're just starting out, you don't need to be a guru. You can just be a guide who is a few steps ahead. Share what you're learning as you're learning it. People connect with that journey. It's more relatable than advice from someone who is already at the top of the mountain. Because your curiosity is a compass. After decades of being told what to care about by schools and bosses, we often lose touch with our own inner guidance system. This simple act of noticing retrains you to listen to that voice. After a week, you'll have a list of 7 things that are clues to where your energy naturally wants to go. That's pure gold.
I love how those 2 steps work together. Mine is about building external skills. Yours is about uncovering internal motivation. For step 3, let's combine them. The low-stakes experiment. Take one idea from your curiosity audit and one skill from your 5-hour rule and create a tiny project. I often hear from clients, but what if I do the audit and my list is blank? What if I'm not curious about anything? And that's a very real feeling, especially when you're feeling burned out. Burnout doesn't just exhaust you, it disconnects you from yourself.
Oh, okay. So if I was curious about sustainable fashion and was learning basic web design,
Your experiment could be to build a simple one-page website featuring your 5 favorite sustainable brands. That's it. The goal isn't to start a business. The goal is to make something, to take it from an idea to a real thing in the world. This is how you build momentum and prove to yourself that you can create value outside of your 9 to 5.
that's the aha moment right there. You don't have to quit your job tomorrow. You just have to start a small, low stakes experiment, which brings us to our last real world story, Emma Chamberlain.
That sounds simple, but I know for a lot of people, that's the scariest part. Hitting publish on that one-page website or posting that first video, it's making yourself vulnerable to judgment. The YouTube queen, a perfect example of this new path. That fear is so real, and the truth is, the world is noisy. It's easy to feel like you have nothing new to add. But the reframe that helped me is understanding that you don't have to be a world-renowned expert to start. You just have to be one step ahead of the people you want to help.
Totally. She didn't have a business plan or a 5-year strategy. She was a teenager who started making videos in her bedroom because she was bored and wanted a creative outlet. Her style was the complete opposite of polished corporate content. It was messy, relatable, and hilariously authentic.
That's a crucial point. But let's be honest, for many people, the fear isn't just about judgment. It's about money. The idea of giving up a steady paycheck, benefits, and a 401k is terrifying. We can't talk about leaving the 9 to 5 without addressing the very real financial anxieties that keep people stuck. And that authenticity is her brand. That's the challenging truth that a lot of people need to hear. In the creator economy, authenticity is the currency. People are tired of the perfect, curated corporate persona. They crave realness. Emma Chamberlain built a media and coffee empire by essentially just being herself. That's a career path that simply didn't exist 20 years ago. Absolutely. Let's ground this in reality, because passion and curiosity are the fuel, but a solid financial foundation is the vehicle. Without it, you'll run out of gas. The first and critical step is building what's called a financial runway. This isn't just about having some savings, it's a strategic buffer that gives you the freedom to experiment without the terror of running out of money.
It's so true. She monetized her personality and point of view, directly connecting with millions who felt seen by her. So, how long of a runway are we talking about? I've heard everything from 6 months to 2 years. It feels like a huge, intimidating number for a lot of people.
Okay, so as we wrap up, let's leave our listeners with some encouragement, because we've talked about a lot and it can feel overwhelming. It's personal, but a good starting point is 6 to 12 months of your essential living expenses. And I mean essential: rent or mortgage, utilities, food, non-negotiable bills. This isn't your going out with friends budget, it's your keep the lights on budget. The goal is to lower your burn rate so your runway lasts longer.
Yes. First, please know that if you're feeling that dread, that misalignment, you are not alone, and it is not a personal failure. It's a rational response to a system that is no longer serving us. Give yourself grace. That makes sense. It's about creating a safety net so you can think creatively, not desperately. When you're worried about next month's rent, it's impossible to do your best work. That financial pressure crushes creativity.
And remember that progress is not a straight line. You will have days where you feel stuck. You will try experiments that fail. That is part of the process. The goal isn't to perfectly execute a grand plan. The goal is to stay curious and keep moving, one small step at a time.
Exactly. And once you're in it, the game changes from saving to managing variable income. This is a huge mindset shift. You can't think month to month anymore. I advise my clients to adopt a profit-first system. When you have a good month, a percentage immediately goes to taxes, a percentage to savings, a percentage to operating expenses, and then you pay yourself. It smooths out the peaks and valleys. So here's a mantra to take with you. My worth is not my work. My value is not my job title. Let that sink in. Your value comes from your curiosity, your creativity, your unique perspective on the world.
That's powerful, Sarah. A great place to end. Really appreciate you sharing that perspective. That's a perfect practical example of the deeper shift.
You have to move from seeing security as a steady check from an employer to seeing security as your own skills, your network, and your ability to generate value in different ways. Your security is internal, not external. That's the real unlock.
Yeah, these conversations always give me something to think about too. If you found this valuable, please subscribe for more of our amazing videos and share it with someone who might need to hear it. Okay, so you've done your mindset work, you've started your low-stakes experiments, and you've built a financial runway. But there's another piece of the puzzle that people often overlook until it's too late: the social aspect. The loneliness of this path can be brutal.
Hope you all got something useful out of this. It's a huge issue. You go from a built-in social structure at an office, the casual chats, the shared lunches, the after-work drinks, to just you and your laptop. The silence can be deafening, and it's a breeding ground for self-doubt and imposter syndrome.
We'll talk soon. So you have to be intentional about building a new support system. This is non-negotiable. Look for online communities of people on a similar path. That could be a Slack group for freelance writers, a Discord for indie game developers, or a paid mastermind group. The goal is to find people who get it, who understand the unique challenges and victories of this career path.
And those communities are often where you find your mentors. I'm not talking about finding some titan of industry to take you under their wing. A mentor can simply be someone who's 2 or 3 steps ahead of you. They've just navigated the challenges you're facing now, so their advice is incredibly relevant and practical. That's a perfect example. I encourage my clients to build what I call a personal board of directors. This isn't a formal thing. It's a small group of 3 to 5 people you can turn to for different kinds of advice. You might have one person who is a financial whiz, another who's a marketing genius, and a third who is just a great listener and keeps you grounded. They are your personal brain trust.
I love that framework. It's proactive. It's about realizing you are the CEO of your own career, and every good CEO has a board of advisors. It transforms you from a lonely freelancer into the leader of your own small, agile enterprise. That's a powerful mental shift.